We're now on to hormone balancing actions. If somebody has a problem with their hormone system, these are the chemical mediators that determine the tone, the activity, the receptivity of many other chemicals in the body. To balance hormones, you need to look at the liver actions because the liver metabolizes a lot of the hormones and has a key role to play. Bitters, because of the influence of the vagus nerve and the importance of digestion. Good digestion and good microflora is important for hormone balance. Nervines, again, because of the interaction between hormones as chemical messengers and the nerve transmitters in the brain, and both of those meet in the hypothalamus, and there's a second by second interaction between the brain chemistry and hormone levels. Adaptogen, because the key hormone balancers are in the adrenal glands by way of cortisol, which is metabolized in the liver. So there's a big interaction between the digestion, the liver metabolism, and cortisol levels. Herbs that have a hormone balancing action, they're often put foremost in hormone balancing blends, but I would only use them as part of this overall scenario. Tonic herbs or a tonic effect is important, but not at the expense of an exhausted hormone system. You need to have tonics that won't overstress a depleted system. Astringency, mainly that would be important for the gut, and particularly in the context of leaky gut, where you want to make sure that there is a tight seal between what goes into the gut and what's absorbed and assimilated by the gut. And that's important, again, in terms of a good microflora. Digestive support, I think I've explained in terms of the other actions. And diuretic effect, as many of you may know, there's often a problem with bloating and fluid retention associated particularly with premenstrual syndrome. And lastly, I've put in chocolate, just for light relief, if you like. Chocolate has an effect on the brain chemistry and also on hormone balance. Originally, chocolate was imported as a herbal remedy because it has both a relaxing and a stimulating effect. I think most of us can attest to that. I do use chocolate as medicine, mainly for the menopause or as a balancer for other nervines. We're talking about dark chocolate because if there's one thing that aggravates hormone imbalance, it's sugar, along with aggravating many other conditions and being pre-inflammatory. So dark chocolate can give some of those effects. This one is just to make you laugh, really, and also to point out that the hormone changes of the menopause are not called a change for nothing. Many women have a new energy which is not dictated by monthly hormone cycles and the changes in neurotransmitters that involves, and can go on to a whole different phase of energy, which can lead to whole other avenues of expression and taking control of their lives and enjoying life in a different way. This is, again, just another light relief, and I think it speaks for itself, really. The hormone cycle can be a source of restless energy, creativity, but also if the hormones aren't balanced well, can be a disrupting influence for people's energy. So getting the hormone balance right is really important for quality of life. So looking for all of those actions, what herbs might we use? One I've started with, not for any particular reason, is black cohosh. Many people know that this is a hormone balancing herb, but it does a lot more than that. It's also a calming nervine, antispasmodic. It regulates the fight or flight reaction, and it also has an estrogenic effect without a direct estrogen influence. It has a mild analgesic effect due to its salicylic acid, and it promotes normal menstrual flow. So definitely a good one for premenstrual syndrome and also for the menopause. Another effect, which I haven't written in there, is that it seems to have an effect on promoting bone strength, which is a nice little side effect, if you like. Sage is a herb that influences circulatory balance, which can be very useful for hot flushes and for sweating. It improves cognitive function, probably because of its effect on the circulation, but we don't really know. It has a carminative effect on the digestive tract, and it also promotes generalized sweating through the skin. And as we know from previous actions, it is also antimicrobial and particularly good for sore throats. Dong Quai is also known as Angelica sinensis or Chinese Angelica. It's hormone regulating, it's a nutritive, it would be described as a blood tonic. antispasmodic, a mild analgesic, a circulatory stimulant, and an alterative. So again, all of those actions would be very helpful for hormone balancing for any reason. And this is a very nourishing and tonifying herb. Dandelion root promotes liver enzyme function and the production and flow of bile. And it also modulates the neurochemistry by way of the bitter effect on the vagus nerve. Also very nutritious, very rich in minerals and salts, very, very nice in any hormone balancing herb blend. And this is one really that wouldn't have been used traditionally over hundreds of years, but I think is particularly relevant to life in the 21st century. Siberian ginseng, again, has that tonic action. It's a balanced adaptogen. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't use energy that's not available. It doesn't push or overstimulate. And for that reason is very good for an adaptogen that you might need for hormone balancing. Motherwort is one of my favourite herbs for hormone balancing, because it has a direct hormone balancing effect, but it's also antispasmodic and a heart sedative when needed. Again, particularly at the menopause, quite a number of women have palpitations, and the motherwort is particularly good as a calming herb, but particularly calming to the nervous system in the heart and the balance between adrenaline and the parasympathetic or autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is the opposite of a stimulant effect of the fight and flight reaction. So motherwort is a lovely herb. Vervain, as we've said before, is a nervine, but it also has a bitter effect on the liver. Again, quite calming for hormone imbalance. Licorice is hormone balancing in addition to its effect of soothing and healing on the digestive tract, and also acting as an adaptogen and as a unifying effect for all the various other herbs. Just to make it clear that we have a voluntary and an involuntary nervous system. The voluntary nervous system acts under our conscious command, like picking up a pen or walking to the shops. It coordinates all of those voluntary activities. The autonomic nervous system is not under our control. We're not aware of it. It controls things like the movement of food through the gut and the tissue tension in our arteries and veins. We're not aware that it's doing it. And it is made up of the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic controls the fight or flight reaction. If you are in a field with a tiger or a bull, you suddenly find that you can run faster and jump fences higher than you ever would have considered in your rational, conscious mind. The parasympathetic nervous system is the resting phase. When we're not alert to fight or flight, it controls the state of relaxation in our tissues. The autonomic nervous system is very in tune with the hormone system and the resting state of activity in the central nervous system of the brain and the peripheral nerves. So they interact in a very fluid way unless they're highly alert through this sympathetic tone. So the sympathetic tone is increased tone and active, and the parasympathetic is the state of relaxation. So motherwort helps with the relaxation aspect of the autonomic nervous system. It promotes the parasympathetic tone. This is also invoked by the bitters. It helps relax the background tone by stimulating the vagus nerve, which has an influence on setting the parasympathetic nervous system transmitters in the brain via this nerve, which connects the digestive tissue and the brain. So I hope that's helpful.